When we perform an echo exam, we should go about in a standard fashion. We should always use the same sequence, and the first window we use is the parasternal window. The parasternal window is located on the left of the sternum, and we use the intercostal spaces, either the second, third, or fourth intercostal space, depending on the axis of the heart. Probably 90% of patients can be imaged from the apical window. It's a very important window, and it's the second window we use after we perform the parasternal long axis. Where is the window located? It's located at the apex, which can be very variable. Usually it's somewhere in the region of the fifth intercostal space, but it can be located further up or sometimes even further down, and the apex can also be rotated more towards the back or even more towards the sternum. So there's a high variation, and you will have to just play around with the transducer until you find where the apex is. Special problems we have is in very slim patients where the apical window is sometimes not visible at all or not present at all, simply because the axis of the heart is so steep that the whole heart is hidden behind the sternum. Another problem is patients who have COPD, where we have lung tissue which obscures the apical window. The subcostal window works on almost all patients. I think it should be an important component of every exam, and you will learn that in special clinical situations this view is extremely helpful. Where is the subcostal window located? It's located here right underneath the xiphoid, and you see that you have no lung and no ribs and no sternum to obscure your view. The only problem is that the heart is located fairly far away from the transducer, so you do need a fairly low transducer frequency to get good image quality. It's ideal for imaging immobile patients who can only lie on their back, for patients who have COPD and where the lung obscures the apical window, and for patients who have a very steep heart axis where the heart is located right here behind the sternum. You can use the subcostal window in particular in situations where the other windows only provide no or poor image quality. And as already mentioned, if the patients cannot rotate into a left lateral position, and it should be used in all patients where you assume or where you believe or where you want to exclude a pericardial effusion. The further advantage of the subcostal view is that you could image the inferior vena cava, and also for patients who have suspicious atrial septal defects and patent foramen ovale, the interatrial septum. It is also a view where we can look at the pulmonic flow and where we sometimes get an even better image quality than from a parasternal long axis or short axis view of the pulmonary artery.